discussion about soft skills and hard skills. My name is Alex Kolokov, and I'm glad to meet my today's guest, Michalis Konstantoulakis, Alicia Rabadan, Neil Richards, and Marcelo Haas. And together we will discuss this topic, how to find the optimal balance between hard skills, soft skills, and share our experience, because all we are have more than 10 and maybe 20 years in the field of data analytics, business intelligence, and I hope that this discussion will be useful for you and for ourselves. So let's start from our brief introductions, and I'll ask you, each of us, to tell a few words about yourselves. So where are you from? Where are you working? What is your field of interests? And whatever else. We have basic order. So hi, Michalis.
Hello, hi from my side. I'm actually from Greece. So I've been currently working as head of BI and Insights in efood, which is a delivery company under the umbrella of Delivery Hero. And I've been in this sector for 10 and plus years in the field of BI, Insights, Analytics and stuff. And my main responsibility and passion is how to transform and communicate data effectively. So I started studying finance because I wanted to do that. But then as my career progressed, I found out that I really enjoyed the analytics sector and how to take, infinite data and make some nice visualization and extract some insights to communicate to business stakeholders. So this is my passion.
That's a great experience. Thank you, Michalis. Hi, Alicia. How are you doing?
Hi, Alex. Well, I'm Alicia. I am from Mexico, and I have 10 plus years of experience in business intelligence and data analytics. I've been working in this field in many different industries. And right now I'm working in HCL, which is a consulting firm. And we implement IT projects. Particularly, I implement data projects. And my passion is turning large sets of information into something that everybody can understand. And that's why I like data visualization. I like sharing knowledge.
Great. I like sharing knowledge too. Welcome, Neil.
Hi, everybody. My name's Neil. I'm from the UK, and I work for a company called JLL. My current role there is within a team of analysts. I have a new role focused on data fluency globally, which I'm really excited to get involved with that, really just to kind of be the bridge between the BI analytics team and the end users. How can we make our people more confident with data? How can we get them to really just sort of be more confident making data informed decisions? Overall, I have probably about 25 years working with data, and probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 as an analyst within BI. My real passion is using these analytical tools to make data visualization. And my real passion outside of my work is to do something slightly more creative than that. So to make more creative art style data visualizations as well. So I love the intersection between the creative and the analytical. And so I sort of really try and sort of combine my my passions with my role and cover the whole spectrum of what's possible in analytics and visualization.
Great. 25 years, significant experience. And I agree with you that during the previous cycles of evolving data industry, our challenge was always to build different bridges between data and people, but finally we build these bridges between people from different areas. And visualization is a universal language which helps us. Hi, Marcelo.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Alex. Thanks for having me here. I'm from Brazil, and I'm Tableau social ambassador. I'm currently working for now outweighs, which is a holding company that provides eye care service, basically exams, contact lenses, glasses, and I'm also the director of iTech Talent Solutions, which is also a consultancy company, but focused on tech professional recruitment. So we help all companies to, just focus on the company culture. So, and as we have expertise in technology area, we have a really agile and assertive hunting process. And yeah, I share with you guys, and I'm also passionate about data visualization. In my previous job, I was a tech leader of a team and of about Tableau team, and also of a data engineering team. And that's it. I really love sharing my knowledge.
Right, and your combination of your fields is also very interesting. Analytics and recruiting, career consulting. So let's start our blitz session. I will ask this question and feel confident to ask. So I will not ask you tell your names each time. So feel free to start and maybe to interrupt, to join conversation. So the first, so I'll ask you to unmute your microphones to accelerate our discussion. And the first question, basic question about soft skill. How do you think? What do you consider as a main key soft skill for your field? And maybe you will mention the difference between soft skills at early stage and soft skills which are demanded when you are experienced professional. So the first blitz topic about soft skill, main soft skill. What do you think about it?
So if I may start, I would summarize into the 3 C's, as I call it. It's the curiosity, it's the commitment, and it's the communication. So curiosity means that if you want to work with data, you need to be curious, right? It's not like in university where just you get 10 numbers and then you draw some graphs and that's all. You need to understand why something is happening, why you see these numbers, why all the time. Then you have the commitment, right? So the answer usually is not on the first page or your first graph or your first analysis. You need to really commit in order to answer those whys, because it can get really, really exhausting. Some answer can be answered with 2 numbers. Some answer can be found after 1 week digging all your database. And the third one, and I believe the most important one, is the communication. You have only a very rare case where you just need to do an analysis for yourself. Usually you need to communicate that to business stakeholders, people more senior than you, people who are not very familiar with quantitative subjects or methods, or don't care, to be honest, about how many nights you spend. They just need to tell them 2 sentences, and that's all. So the 3 C's for me.
Great, and I'm sure that Neil will support you with the hashtag curiosity.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I will be talking about curiosity when we convene later. But yeah, I would agree. And what I thought about this is it's all about asking questions, because it's the importance is getting the brief right. If you can ask the right questions and have that right the right level of understanding first time with your client, then you save so much time in project creep, in going back, in presenting something that turned out not to be exactly what was the requirements in the first place. So it's really the soft skill. It's kind of the ability to ask the right question. And I've also thought about empathy here. It's really that's very much a soft skill that you don't see sort of written down in many places, or you don't see trained. But again, it's just about having that understanding with your client, the understanding about what it is they want from your data. So not just what you think they want, but getting that understanding, their own mindset, and that this combination, I think, of skills gives you your best chance anyway of getting to the right result first time.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to name the title of your new book.
Well, this new book available in all good online retailers, Questions in DataViz. So there you go. I've done that.
Yeah,
so that's my new book, which I'm very proud of. All about creative data visualization.
Yes, and it's about curiosity. Oh, yes,
absolutely.
Let's get back.
Yeah, actually, I do agree with Neil. That's the word I would say, empathy as well. For me, it's one of the most important soft skills to have when you are a consultant. So it's not just about providing solutions, it's about human beings. So you must put yourself into your customer, the universe, and understand everything about the workflow, the process. So when you understood everything, you can really build a really great solution, because as I said, it's just about human being. So yeah, that's definitely empathy, very important.
For me, it's also with empathy and understanding, as Neil said, also the ability to cooperate with your client, to the understanding and try to reach what they want. And I think it's a soft skill that it's important both at the beginning of your career and also as an experience professionally. I would also add the ability to adapt to any situation. Sometimes we have a solution in mind and then we have to change it. And finally, time management. Me as a consultant, I sometimes have many different projects with many different clients. So it's very important because sometimes you want to solve a problem and you get into it and don't want to spend a lot of time solving it. But it's about a balance between reaching a solution and also being able to manage everything that you have with all your clients and all your customers. Those will be my 3 soft skills.
Okay. What's interesting, the skill of empathy was mentioned several times, and in my experience, many data analysts, even professional analysts, have a lack of this skill. And what do you think? How to develop this skill?
To be honest and fair with new analysts, especially with new analysts, and I see it all the time, is that academia and all the boot camps are obsessed with, technical skills, hard skills, the latest tech, the most advanced visualization tools and stuff. And if you see the curriculums, usually they devote 1 or 2 hours or days about data communication and how to engage stakeholders. So it is difficult, but the academia does not help usually.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I agree, really. And a lot of the time, the softer skills will just sort of come from experience. The harder skills, the technical skills, yes, you can take a course, you can learn a language, you can tick the box and you can put it on your CV and says, I can do this. And a lot of these softer skills, such as empathy, it's harder to teach, but it's just something to be aware of, to make sure it's discussed, and it's to make sure that you learn during the course of gaining that experience and during the course of working on projects. And you probably learn it more by collaboration, by working with others. So chances are, if you're new and you're learning the ropes, you're not going to have a big project all to yourself. So I would always say, just, look at people who do a really good job, look at people who you look up to, and who really seem to have that right kind of understanding with the client, and learn from them. Try and identify where and how they show empathy, or where and how they have a really good relationship with the client, and just sort of gradually adopt that more and more yourself.
Yeah,
I agree with
definitely.
you.
Yeah. I would say that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, actually, I would say that you can try to improve yourself about empathy by learning and understanding the reason behind design thinking. Basically, as a designer, like I have a design background, I learned about design thinking, and actually, when you really understand the reason behind it, so why do you need to understand like the whole customer universe, the whole process, and you realize that that's very important. So at the same time, that is hard to learn something that you maybe don't have, like empathy, when you're a beginner, like probably you can try to understand the reason behind design thinking, and you like more capable to understand and improve this skill. So
Yes, I agree with you.
For me, it will be never forgetting that behind all the tools and all the data, there is a person that wants to learn, that wants to know, that is working with that information. Just reminding yourself always that there are people that you want to share the information with.
Okay, to sum up, and what's in other hand, insight, but also proof for me that academic education doesn't help, or helps not enough to develop empathy, because it's focused on hard skills, tech skills, but we have a good way to improve this skill through collaboration, through learning best practices, through making retrospectives of our projects, and that's how we may develop this skill. Great. So let's continue our talk about hard skills. What do you think about the main hard skills for data analysts?
That's a relative question, right?
Yeah.
Actually, about hard skill, I would say that like when you're a beginner, you're more like I would suggest just focus on the hard skill, and whenever you start like growing your career, start focusing more on soft skill. As whenever you become a experienced professional, you start to collaborate more with your team and different teams, and also you start to communicate more with the clients. So yeah, the hard skill is very important, but at the same time, as we said, it's something that can be learned. So yeah, I would say that like comparing hard skill and soft skill is definitely the most hard one to learn.
And to be more specific, is as for the hard skills, usually another topic is that a new analyst is bombarded with, so many technologies, so many acronyms, so many tools that pop up every day, and it's the latest tech, the thing to eradicate everything. And judging from my experience, there are three fundamental tools. I know that they have people against them. It's the SQL and Excel and the visualization tool, let's say, which is like primitive. They're considered primitive, but they've been working since 1980. And then on top of that, you can do all the fancy stuff like machine learning, AI, I don't know, some very specific statistic tools like language programming and stuff. But overall, I would say to concentrate on the fundamental tools and then start getting better and better to others. As for the hard skills, as for the soft skills, Marcelo has covered everything.
I think for me, the reason there was a bit of a pause before this, and I didn't want to be the first person to answer the question, is because there are a lot of hard skills that are useful. There are a lot of technical skills that can really help you take that first step as an analyst or a data scientist. But I would look at it the other way. I would say, don't feel like you have to know them all. Don't feel like you're missing out because you don't know Python and your colleague does, or you feel your R isn't up to scratch. The chances are you don't need to know everything, and you're much better off focusing on where you want to learn, where you want to develop, and understand that you will be working with other people. You will have other people who have knowledge in certain areas. You don't need to tick every box. You don't need to understand. In my own career, I very much sort of focused on Tableau. That's where I found my skills and my love and passion. And I've been able to work with other people who are better and more professional at the data wrangling side than me, who are better at they might have learned Alteryx, and we can collaborate. So I can, if you have better brains than you to work on other parts of a process, then use them. Don't feel like you need to learn and develop every hard skill that there is. So without sort of necessarily coming up with specific answers, again, just sort of focus on what you know, understand the importance of developing your soft skills as well as your hard skills, and be aware that if you're in a team or an organization, you can share those hard skills across projects and collaborate that way.
Yeah, definitely. You said a really important thing. You said about passion. So I would say that when you're a beginner and you're trying to learn something new, just start with what you are passionate about. So it worked for you, it worked for me, and I think it worked for everyone. So yeah.
For me, it would be developing a way of thinking that it's focused toward problem solving. And I think that comes with experience. Just trying to combine the creativity with the tools you have in hand, because you're not always have the same resources. So you need to combine tools and the ability to adapt to different tools with creativity and problem solving. Oh, you're in mute, Alex.
Sorry, my connection was reloaded. So, to be honest, I feel some controversy in your speeches, because you are experienced analysts and you pay attention to soft skills. But beginners need to come through for years of practice to come up to the same figures, and they expect for direct questions, and they need to make a choice for technology stack, for curricular field of knowledge, and I understand that it's a tricky question, but could you briefly name that hard skill which was the most effective for you? Maybe not even hard skill combined with a specific tool or technology. I may provide an example that Microsoft Excel was my hardest skill in the beginning of my career, not even in the beginning, 10 years ago, when before Microsoft Power BI, but really I had experience to collect data, to clean them up, and to visualize. And it was a combination, it was a full stack combination which I could realize in a single tool. And in this purpose, it was my hard skill and my competitive advantage, because a few people could realize complex project of full cycle in a single tool. And my question and my opinion remains the same, that if you are experienced advanced Excel user, you work with you are experienced with Power Query, Power View, dashboards, you will always able to find a good job without knowledge of Python, also something related to artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
but you may disagree with me.
No, actually, I agree. I would say that if you are working with data, try to learn SQL. Like, it'll be very important to your career. Like, even though you won't work as a data engineer, like, we are basically data visualization professionals, right? But yeah, whenever you know the how the data is transformed and why it was transformed and the reason behind it, you can improve your career. So, and SQL can help you with this, you know. So yeah, I would suggest SQL, and actually a little bit of design as well, like the designing UX side about building a dashboard is not like, some people that can say that it's not that important, but like, I worked as a designer, so I'll take to my part. I would say that it is very important. So yeah, when you're working with data, try to learn a little bit of SQL, like how to transform the data and the reason behind it. And if you're working with building dashboards, try to learn a little bit of designing as well.
Great. In the age of artificial intelligence, we claim that the most important skills and tools are SQL and Excel.
Excel, yeah. I also started my career with Excel, but I agree. One of the most important tools, especially for ETL processes, would be SQL, and it helps you also with different tools like Tableau, like Snowflake. I would add a little bit of Python and some of the libraries that are towards data mining, and one visualization tool, which for me are Tableau and Power BI. Those will be my tools.
Okay, Tableau and Power BI.
Yeah, I think Alicia covered everything. So I started with Excel, and I'm one of those rare people who also used VBA for many processes and stuff. Now it's outdated. Not even Microsoft want to maintain this thing. I did all the journey from Excel, then to Power Query, then Power Query converted to Power BI and stuff. And I think this is a nice thing to have. As Marcelo and Alicia said, SQL, goes with everything basically. It started in 1970. You can use it in Tableau, you can use it in Power BI, you can use it in Excel, you can use it in every single ETL tool out there. So it's fundamental. And a little bit of Python or R, I personally prefer Python, can get you a long way, especially in today's world where you have infinite libraries and ETL functions.
Okay, we add Python to our skill set. What do you think, Neil?
I have nothing to add. This is kind of where I expected to come into the conversation earlier to reply to a whole load of prerequisite skills. And I don't deny any of them, other than to say, you may not have them all, don't worry. You know, if you have some of these, if you have just one of them, if you have just the right mindset and the way to be introduced, that's fine. You don't have to tick all these boxes. I started off using an abacus. I'm that old, so you know anything is. I say that you've said how long Excel and SQL have been around, so maybe I'm not that old after all. But yeah, really just, you know, any introduction that you have, any tool, that's great. You can learn anything else when you need to, and you can work with others who also learn these skills. So no more to add on that. You've between us, we've covered a great range of tools and skills.
And the thing is, I believe to learn to adapt, because I know some you know, amazingly smart people who just don't know Excel. They don't care. They are so good in Python and other tools that they don't care. But what could they do in Excel in 2 seconds? It would take them, you know, 10 seconds or 2 minutes in Python. So it can really help you, you know, save time and stuff. So just be adaptable, I would say.
Yes, and for me, it's an example of this lack of empathy, because people choose that tool which they prefer for themselves, and maybe they are passionate, but it's harder to support for other people. And that's why we sometimes still use Excel, because almost everyone is able to support this solution without any scripts. And I suggest to skip next question and continue the topic of hard skills and discuss this situation when a professional may become overwhelmed with hard skills, and what may it cause. Have you observed these cases when we also mentioned this this issue when people become too focused on hard skills, new tools? Do you have something to say about this?
Again, just to kind of agree, it follows on from what we said on some of these previous questions, which is not to worry, and that the hard skills aren't the be all and end all of what your role might be. I mean, if you're talking about some kind of situation post acquisition, or where you have a new situation, very often the most important thing is going to be building relationships. It's going to be building client relationships. It's going to be you know, learning who you're working with, how to work with them, and then going back to the areas we've discussed in previous questions as well. Things like, you know, asking the right questions and being empathetic with them. So it's, I suppose I'm conscious that I'm sort of turning it back to what we've spoken about before, but again, you know, I think if there's an overwhelming feel that you have all these requirements, these new tools, these new hard skills to learn, then again, I would just sort of recommend taking a step back, understanding that, you know, you can cover the hard skill requirements, technical requirements, chances are, with what you already know, and just to sort of make sure that you are being involved in building up new client relationships and anything else you might be required to do then as well.
Okay, I agree with you. Maybe someone is disagree.
No, I definitely agree as well. Actually, that's a reason why companies during the hiring process have an interview that they just try to understand if you're capable to work with a team and you have the right soft skill to work with a team and with their clients. So yeah, I think that the most like trouble and issue about just focusing on the hard skills is that you might find and face some issues about, as Neil said, relationships. So yeah, definitely I agree.
And I believe what Alex said is really important. Like sometimes people are overwhelmed with, you need to learn this and that regarding hard skills. And personally, have an analogy for, the next big tech, the next big killer. Like there are infinite buzzwords lately, from data contracts to data pipelines to everything into one. And if someone reads the history, it was the same thing with software engineer. Every 2 months, there was a new killer, there was a new tech that would revolutionize everything. And again, like data people today, software engineers back then tried to jump in the new train, allow me the phrase. And at the end, all these technologies either disappeared or changed to something completely different. And only the people who stick to the fundamentals, like we said, SQL and basic knowledge of ETL and empathy and stuff like that, are those who, continue with a career. Everyone who tried to, learn the latest tech or, learn the latest, implementation had to adjust eventually.
Yes, every month and years we have a rebranding of the same technology stack, but with artificial intelligence, with big data, with cloud, and now with ChatGPT and something else. Okay, so let's get back to soft skills. And I have a question, maybe weird question about that soft skill, which you might be surprised in your team or people you have met. For example, when skill of singing, dancing, drawing, or something else was useful in data analytics projects, or if you had such experience, or if you imagine this combination.
Well, I can go first. I mean, my answer to this is not so much a surprise, but the soft skill which I sort of never really anticipated would be so useful. From my own experience, I've had sort of 20 years in data processing, where I was, I was never even seen by the clients. I was just in a back room producing numbers and charts and pieces of paper and saying, there you go, you take that to the client. And what I never realized would be such an involvement of becoming an analyst is days like today, skills like this, the skill of being able to talk to people around the world with confidence, talk publicly, talk professionally, talk with passion, and just that soft skill of being able to talk, to being able to present, is something that's a whole new area, which probably 7, 8, 9 years ago, I'd never spoken in public before, and I would have been shaking like a leaf at the thought of doing a presentation like this, or even just talking for 2 minutes to a room full of 10 people. And I think growing this skill, it really helps. It helps you being able to present to clients. It helps you be able to just to talk, to evangelize to your other workers, to just yeah. I think it's here I am stuttering, having said how great the skill is to have, but I think it's just something that I never really understood would be such a big part of an analyst's role, if you want it to be, is to really have this this extra sort of soft skill ability, if you like, to communicate and to public speaking.
I would like to add to Neil. I've struggled with that. In many industries I've worked with in teams that are full of men, and I'm the only woman, or I'm the youngest person in the room. And sometimes it's really hard to talk. It's really hard to make your voice be heard. So I would say it's definitely important to be able to communicate what you can provide and what you can teach and what you have worked with. And also a little bit of persuasion. I have many projects where we say yes to the client to everything. And sometimes the client does not know the greatest solution. And for me, the role of us as data scientists would be to guide the client through the right path, through the thing that it's best for their project or best for what their job is about.
Yes.
So I would...
Maybe I will develop this idea that negotiating skill is very useful, especially on a pre-sale stage, sale process. And in my experience, there's no magic salesperson who will sell the project and bring you a contract with detailed specification. You need to join this process on the start, and also join these negotiations about price and other benefits. And now I remember some cases when this negotiating skill was very useful, especially in a situation when big corporate clients start pressing you.
Yeah, I also would say storytelling, maybe. Like, it would be a combination about communication and storytelling. I remember when I was a beginner, I was just starting my career, like I had that guy that was just explaining a whole team about his process, and I was just thinking about, oh gosh, what the heck is this? And like, it was such a really hard experience. But like during my work, after some weeks, I had the opportunity to see another guy explaining basically kind of the same stuff, where in a really great way, like in a really good flow. And like, as a beginner, I had the opportunity to really understand what he has done. So yeah, I would say also storytelling is very important, and the combination about communication and storytelling would be very helpful. And like, so it was very surprising to me. And after like some period, I had a like kind of course about storytelling, and that was like teach it by that guy. So that's when I understood, okay, storytelling is very important. So I'm learning.
Oh, I remember a relevant story from one online conference, and a woman, she spoke about your dashboard project case, and really she was a good speaker. And my final perception was that your dashboard is sexy. But later, when I reviewed this dashboard, I decided that dashboard is good enough, usual, another one business dashboard, but her voice was sexy. And really the tone of this voice, the mood. And we discussed later that she has she learned some theatrical courses of so she wasn't a professional storyteller, but she has this art background, and she consciously worked with pauses, temp of her voice, so this mood, and really it works. So it's,
yeah, just to say a coincidence, I would say that I had two friends that influenced me in an unexpected way. The one was a psychologist, and the other one was an actor, amateur actor. So they started saying things about, you need to understand your audience. Some people are motivated by movement. Some people are motivated by cold facts. Some people are motivated by stories and, empathy and building relationships. And, the actor guy was agreeing as well, say that you need to, as Marcelo said, not just say a process that would sleep your audience. You need to, empathize with them. You need to bond with them. You need to make them an interesting story, even if you discuss about, sales and stuff. And I found it, after many years, I found that the same principles are applied for business language as well. So you may find the most cold-hearted CFO talking about EBITDA and sales, but you still need to, say why this happened in a nice and enticing way. Otherwise, people would say, just send me an email. You don't need to be here. And that's the worst thing that can happen.
I think all of these sort of examples sort of explain why it's so important when we look at people joining the industry or people who are ideal for a team. People come from all sorts of backgrounds. It's so easy to think, oh, if I want to be an analyst, I should probably have studied maths or economics or something like that. But I've worked with people, and you suddenly realize actually these guys are trained musicians or architects or chemists or sort of classical linguists, anything like this. And anything that just gives you a wider background, it really helps in all these skills that we've spoken about. I mean, one of the sort of skills that we haven't sort of mentioned, which kind of covers what's really important in analytical aspects, is just having an eye for detail. And if you have that eye for detail, if you have it in a creative sense as well, then sometimes that can be really helpful. You can be really surprised sort of seeing somebody sketch out a dashboard and just think, wow, and realize that they have that much more of a artistic background than you do. But anyone who can just have this eye for detail and communicate it, and that goes way beyond the kind of people who you initially might think, oh, well, maybe a mathematics graduate or something like that will be the best person to come and learn all these skills. And I don't mean to disrespect these people, because I am a mathematics graduate, but I love to be surrounded by people who are not like me, so that we have that, that full range of backgrounds and skills. And that, that brings so many different soft skills into any project and any team that far. It therefore really means to me that I would say, nothing is out of bounds for your background if you want to be a data scientist. If you can learn one or two of the skills we've spoken before, the other skills that you will have in your skill set will probably put you at an advantage and will keep you, will really help in where you want to go.
Yes, and this moves us to the finalizing topic about further career advices. I understand that it's not a right way to say direct advices. Develop this skill. After next step, develop this skill. Of course, students, beginners should feel their passion and their strengths and weakness, but they need to hear some examples, some directions, how to start and which skills on which stage to develop. So finally, could you provide some advices, some directions for beginners, how to find the right balance between hard skills and soft skills?
For me, it would be passion for learning. The field's so wide that it's impossible to know everything. So if you're willing to learn and you're willing to study, you have the right stage for your career as a data scientist.
Sounds great. To remain your passion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I also would say like sometimes you may not have that passion yet, so you may just trying to get involved with a brand new career. So I would suggest consistency as a soft skill, which is very important. So like once I heard this, just this phrase, I just forgot the person who said this, but like without the term, you never start. But without consistency, you never end, you never finish. So yeah, I would say consistency. Just try to, learn a little bit every day, a little bit every single week. Just, fill your cup. And like after some weeks or months, some years, maybe you're going to realize that, okay, now I'm a really good professional because I had consistency in my work, in my, career. So yeah, whenever you need to learn anything brand new, have consistency and you have a really good career.
Consistency, great.
I would say, as a more practical, when you start, you need to really build up your technical skills. I don't know if others will disagree. So when you're a new junior analyst, you don't need to be a great storyteller or have amazing empathy with business stakeholders. You need to be very good at what you're doing. So as Marcelo said, if you're constantly there with correct numbers, quality analysis, correct facts, then as you progress, people will start trusting you, people will start asking you to come to meetings, people will start asking for your opinion, even without numbers. And then you need to shift all the nice things we said, like empathy, like storytelling, like business understanding and stuff. But if some, 20 or 22-year-old starting with just soft skills without having proved himself or herself, then would be really, really difficult, even if he's or she is the best presenter in the world. So start with hard skills, and then as you progress, you start, surrounding yourself with better soft skills.
Okay, so change this balance year by year, project by project, and try a new soft skill each year or each period. Okay.
One thing I would say, and this is actually a more specific example, I've spoken a lot about general, but if you're interested in data visualization in particular, and I can only speak mostly about Tableau, is build up a portfolio. If you have the opportunity to try to build up your own visualizations, and you can use Tableau Public, which is free, and there are a whole load of public data sets available or community initiatives, that kind of thing. You can just get out there and learn and put your stuff out, and you will improve the more that you do this. You can get feedback, you can learn from others, you can present something which is not only becomes a portfolio of what you can do, but it also it becomes your journey, if you like, and you can see how you've started at a good level, but perhaps sort of improved and learned as you've gone, and sort of brought in more skills. So if you have sort of a specific aim of getting involved in data visualization, then a portfolio is a really good thing to be able to bring and to include as part of your CV, perhaps if you're interested in a role. And that doesn't just have to be Tableau. That's the field that I know, but it's perfectly possible to do this with other visualization tools as well.
And I will continue your idea about portfolio. And for me, it's an element of a process of getting feedback. And my personal experience, and that's what I'm teaching every day, my employees, my students, to use every chance to get a feedback. And if you will get feedback, positive feedback, negative feedback, you will develop, you will grow. And without this feedback, you may stop, especially when you are enough experienced, and you consider that you know everything and you are smartest guy. I have a new story from previous weekend. When I shown my new dashboard to my wife, she's not familiar with data analytics, data visualizations. She's a psychologist, and when I presented my dashboard, she said honestly, it looks beautiful, but so dashboard's picture is beautiful. Your speech is interesting. So your speech is nice. It's career engaging, but your picture without your speech is useless. I look at this picture without a speaker, and I don't understand what it's about. And it was a honest feedback for me, and that's why I tell to my students, you don't. So it's so you always have an audience for different feedback. Your colleagues. So you may don't have an access to your real user, to your stakeholder, but you always have a chance to show to your colleagues, to your relatives, or someone else, and especially to discuss it in your professional community. And my learnings, that's a way of developing your soft and hard skills.
Yeah, great. Actually, I did the same thing. Every time that I need to create a brand new dashboard or project, I always show to my wife, and she did the same thing. Okay, it's nice, but what the heck is this? So yeah, that's very important. And getting feedback, I would say, like, getting feedback from as much different people as possible is the greatest thing ever. My wife is from HR background. So yeah, she doesn't work with data, so it's very interesting whenever I show her to all of my projects.
Great. So our time is coming up. Do you have something to add? Some final words?
I think we covered most of it. My conclusion would be bringing information, making information simple enough for everyone to understand, even if they are not in data.
Great. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, for sharing your experience, your thoughts. As for me, it was very useful, and it's this hour was a very useful lesson for me and sharing this experience. So thank you very much, and we will soon we will meet online at our conference, our award, Make Your Data Speak. So have a nice day, have a nice evening, morning, and thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.